Hello, my name is Chris. I am a recent graduate from the University of Glasgow in Scotland, where I completed a 4-year degree in economics. I am currently in my 3rd week of a 2-month internship at Nepal Realistic Solutions, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the costs and benefits of the financial consulting industry in Nepal and the impact it has on the world around it and the companies in the industry.
So I'm going to talk today about the financial consulting industry in Nepal and the costs and benefits. First, I'd like to look at some of the external benefits, so that's benefits relating to the wider world and the industry itself. So firstly, let's consider economic growth. According to a IFC study, there are more than 110,000 small and medium-sized enterprises in Nepal. These provide employment for 1.75 million people and contribute up to 22% of the entire country's GDP. Now, whilst these numbers may seem quite high in relation to other similar rising economies and LDCs, they're actually fairly low. In fact, the numbers can usually reach to around 60% of GDP contribution and provide employment for 40% of the entire workforce. So clearly there is scope for growth in the Nepalese small and medium-sized enterprise industry. Studies have pointed out that a reason for this could be financial constraints to the industry. For example, a study from Nepal Rashtra Bank in 2019 showed that 50% of all small and medium-sized enterprises have never taken out a loan from a financial institution, whilst 25% have no formal relationship whatsoever with any financial institution. Additionally, an IFC study in 2019 showed a $2.5 billion untapped lending market in Nepal. So I believe that proper financial consultation could help alleviate these figures. This could be through helping businesses overcome the obstacles when it comes to borrowing money, or even proposing different methods or different avenues of financing and implementing financial modelling into business operations. The result of this could be increased returns, which of course could lead to more money being pumped back into the Nepalese economy and spurring growth.
So another external benefit to consider is the client relationship. From my research in my first week here, I found that the majority of Nepalese consultancy firms tend to be quite small. While this could pose a problem for the companies themselves, which I'll go on to discuss later, from the perspective of the client, this can translate into a better working relationship as the service is more personable. When a client is working with the same people throughout the entire consultation process, it's much more like they're talking to a friend or even a relative rather than a corporate entity. I think this is really important, especially in Nepal, where business relies on relationships a lot. Additionally, companies here tend to have a smaller client base, which means that consultants are able to better tailor solutions as they're not spread out over many different clients at the same time. They're focused on one. The result of this is that clients don't feel alienated, they are prioritized, which can lead to good reviews and an increase in reputation for the company.
So now let's talk about some of the internal benefits, that is benefits to the companies themselves. I think the main one is that in Nepal, the operating costs are likely to be much lower compared to other parts of the world. In fact, according to Numbeo, Nepal has the 3rd lowest rental index in the world, behind only Afghanistan and Pakistan. This means that general running costs are likely to be lower when compared to other places. Additionally, Nepal boasts a labour force of 8 million, the majority of which is actually under 30 years old. In fact, the median age in Nepal is only 21.6 years old, which for the financial consulting companies translates to more service years for them to capitalise on. However, a counterpoint to note is that the aspirations of youths in Nepal seems to be changing. From my studies and even just from walking around, I've noticed that money is becoming much more central in Nepalese customs. even festivals where it was tradition to exchange food or fruit, it's now common to exchange money between people. So I think that could possibly lead to a brain drain as Nepalese students search out more attractive salary packages from other parts of the world. Now let's look at some of the external costs and challenges faced by the financial consulting industry in Nepal. Firstly, let's consider a fact. Firms aged 25 years or older in Nepal are only 50% larger than those aged 5 years or more. If you compare that to the statistic in the US, where firms aged 25 years or more are over 7 times more large than firms aged 5 years or more, there's obviously a huge difference. This fact shows that the growth of businesses in Nepal is likely stunted, which is likely due to a combination of unfavourable investment conditions and poor regulatory oversight. Upshot is that smaller firms are prominent in Nepal, and this is something that's, as I said before, is also the case with financial consulting companies. This may present a problem as larger firms are arguably better equipped to face the challenges that come with the consulting industry. For example, they are likely better financed, have better access to a larger pool of skilled workers as they're able to offer a more attractive salary package and have a better reputation, which attracts not only clients but can also attract more skilled staff as well.
So another external cost to consider is regulations, corruption and politics within Nepal. In the past 28 years, there have been over 25 governments in Nepal. As well as this, the Nepalese Corruption Perception Index was ranked 124th out of 180 countries in 2018. This is falling 2 places from the 2017 study. This level of political instability and corruption can increase the cost and difficulty of doing business in Nepal, and can not only present problems for existing companies within the industry, but can also dissuade new companies from entering the market. One potential means of increasing the industry, expanding the industry, is through foreign investment. However, in May 2019, the Nepalese government actually issued a law which increased the minimum threshold of FDI almost 10 times over to around $500,000. This is likely to deter smaller and more medium-sized companies from entering the financial consulting industry in Nepal. Finally, I think it's important for financial consultancies in Nepal to consider the cultural challenges that come with locating here. The infamous Nepali time means that many clients will actually show up late to meetings. They may find it appropriate to show up 2-3 hours after the appointed time. Additionally, staff may may find it appropriate to come into work late. Both of these issues can slow down operations with clients and lead to a general slowdown of business. Consultancies should also be aware that there is a bargaining culture in Nepal. This is something that I've even found just from my short time here. When you go into a shop, the price you pay doesn't tend to be the price that's listed or the price that's initially given. In the business world, this can translate to clients haggling over a quoted price from a consultant, which can either lead to unhappy clients or a loss of business for the consultancy itself. The financial consultancy industry in Nepal is one that's likely to continue to grow as Nepal continues to develop. It's therefore important that consulting professionals in Nepal understand the benefits and costs and are able to adapt appropriately. Dhanyavad. Namaste.